I can't even believe you're making me have this conversation. You know what? I'm not stooping to your level to talk about sex robots.
No, we must. We must.
Why? Why must we talk about it?
Okay.
It's ridiculous. Okay, so that's what I'm saying.
It is ridiculous, and that's why we have to discuss what is going on.
So are they
I want to talk to Greg in Japan because I guarantee he's got something to say about this.
Wow.
Listen.
I can't believe you're going to stereotype Greg like that.
Well, he's in Japan. We'll see. We'll find out.
So do you guys like Pac-Man? Because I do. Today is December 1st, and this is supposed to be a November update, so technically it's still November 30th in the other parts of the world, I guess. But maybe not for long. Anyhow, it doesn't matter because I'm just going to be recapping what happened in November. And yes, actually I was on InfoWars. That was kind of funny because it was like super late at night in America, but it was only like 7 p.m. here. I think it was like 2 or 3 in the morning where they were, so they were like really sleep deprived and in a really goofy mood. Anyhow, I'll show more of that at the end of this video. Okay, so November, pretty interesting month, I suppose. I broke my Hollywood boycott, and I watched, well, I rented, I didn't go to the movie theater or whatever, but I finally saw a movie that was made this year, and it was Guardians of the Galaxy Part 2, and I loved it. I was talking with Rebels at Cloud9, Jared, and he didn't care for it at all, but I think it's pretty cool. Actually, in a weird way, it's like the plot of the movie is kind of similar to Star Trek V. If you think about it, I thought that was kind of weird, once I realized that. Except it didn't suck like Star Trek V did, because I don't like that movie. I went to the doctor today for my trigger finger. I've had this condition for about 4 years, and when I was doing moxibustion and massage therapy in the city I used to live in, it was doing pretty good. And then when I worked at that the bottle company, I was commuting so far away that I didn't have time to get home and have them do the moxibustion. And in case you were wondering, like, this is like moxibustion here, right? And this, by the way, this is totally covered by insurance in Japan. And this is cool. There's a lot more alternatives for medicine, and it's covered by insurance. And for you Americans, all the talk of healthcare reform, there's not going to be any real healthcare reform unless they really stick it to the big pharma. There's no way that there's going to be any significant healthcare reform. So anyhow, this is like a mugwort, and it kind of like it heats up and hits the pressure point, and it feels pretty nice actually. Could maybe put some other on there. The reason I went to the doctor is because when I was riding my bike, so like a trigger finger, if you don't know what that is, like I can ball my fist up just fine like this, okay, but this, well, I got something burning on there. I'm not going to do anything about that, but I can't ball it up. These 3 fingers are fine, but the trigger finger, I can't, make a fist tightly. So I was riding my bike to work, and I have the gear shifts are like triggers. And, oh yeah, I can feel it. It's hitting the... I kind of like it when it burns. I can feel it hitting my nerve. You get used to it, I guess. Now, you're really not supposed to like hurt yourself. You can pluck it off, but I prefer to endure it. Anyhow, I was riding my bike, and with this finger, I trigger, geared up, and then like I couldn't straighten out again, because that's what happens when you have trigger finger. So I had to grab this hand, I had to kind of slowly just kind of pull it open, right? Because like when it doesn't work, and like my instinct is just kind of to freak out, and like I'm like, oh gosh, I have to do this, and so I pulled it out, but man, it hurt so bad. So the doctor, I went to like an orthopedic doctor, and he gave me this injection. I was thinking it's going to be cortisone, but it wasn't. But anyhow, it's for pain and inflammation, and the injection hurt like even more, because I think he like really stabbed deep into my hand. I didn't even want to look at it. So, Guardians of the Galaxy. How did I? Anyhow, so this isn't burning. Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought that was a really cool movie, but I haven't been in the mood to see any movie. I kind of live far away from a real movie theater now, so whatever. Don't really that decreases my desire to see movies even more, especially because I don't really have any friends in the town I live in. It's kind of a small town, and my foreign coworkers are, well, I'm not going to badmouth them, but, yeah, kind of differences of opinions, but, I don't care about that, but apparently they get bothered by that. Anyhow, so, yeah, I don't really watch much movies. I do want to see Dunkirk. I do want to see that. I don't know when that's going to be available to rent here, because at least I have a video rental store, in my small town I live in. And, but yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy is really cool. I was thinking, still at the back of my mind, I'm like, who in this movie are jerks? And I'm pretty sure Kurt Russell is a pretty straightforward guy. That was so cool. The beginning of the movie where you see the young Kurt Russell from like 1980 or so. Man, that was cool. And then that Captain America movie where you see the young Iron Man. Shoot, what's his name? Oh my gosh. Not Robbie Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr. No, not Morton Downey. That's the talk show guy. Robert Downey Jr. You see like from the 80s, like the young teenage version, and I think a lot of people, like the guy I saw it with last year, he didn't even know Robert Downey Jr. from any of those 80s movies. But that was just fantastic. It's strange because like the Marvel and the Disney, they own both Marvel and Lucasfilm, but yet the young versions of Carrie Fisher and Grand Moff Tarkin, I forget his name, Peter Cushing, they were okay in Rogue One, but they weren't quite as good as they could have been. It's weird because they're both in the Disney umbrella, but it seems like the Marvel Studios can do it better than Lucasfilm. I guess I'm not too surprised. Anyhow, they need to, like, they have like that disclaimer at the end of the movie. It's like there were no animals that were harmed during the making of this motion picture. They need to have nowadays there were no women who were sexually harassed or raped or whatever during the making of this movie, or there were no children who were molested or raped and murdered and exsanguinated by Baphomet worshipping psychotic Hollywood scum during the making of this movie. With all the stuff that's come out this past year, oh man, Drain the Swamp in DC, Drain the Swamp in Hollywood, and draining the mass media, mainstream media swamp. It's pretty great. Man, this is great. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, all the stuff that's happening is just, it's like keeping me on the edge of my seat, and I don't even really, I'm not even really motivated to really watch much stuff, really. To be honest, I have been renting over the past few years a whole bunch of science fiction classics I'd never gotten around to before. Like, I finally watched Logan's Run. I had tried seeing that when I was a kid, and I gave up on it. I watched Logan's Run. I watched Escape from New York. I watched Silent Running. That was the most recent movie I saw. It was really funny because I've been, rewatching the old original Battlestar Galactica show, and their hydroponics ships. They were basically they took footage from Silent Running, and to make that episode. That was pretty funny. What are some other movies? I saw Outland. But actually, I had seen that a long time ago, but I totally forgot much about it. I haven't seen that in a very long time. On YouTube, I caught that movie as an alien ripoff called Creature, and man, yeah, you can look it up. It's on YouTube. Somebody's uploaded it for free because I think it's nobody cares about it anymore. It's kind of similar to Alien, but it's kind of like a Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because it's like, or The Thing, because the alien can control people, and you think that they're your friend, but they're actually the alien. It's been done before. The funny thing is, like, the cyborg soldier in the movie is I don't know the actress's name, but she was the Simone in Pee-wee's Big Adventure. And when I was watching that movie, I kept thinking, everybody I know has a big butt, Simone. Let's talk about your big butt. Like, oh, revoir, Pee-wee. Oh gosh, so fun, so fun. I took notes because I don't want to forget anything that I want to talk about. But let's get right into it. Let's talk about.
Was these models?
Okay, so stuff and things. You may notice that I haven't uploaded a whole lot of videos. However, I am just so stoked because I have created that 555 strobing chip, and I've made two of them because after I did the one, I got it to work. I banged out another one real quickly with the experience, and oh man, that is so cool. That it's a milestone for me. I was really close to finishing the R-Type kit earlier in November. So close, but that the four-solar, but I didn't like how the prongs, the metal contacts were sitting, so I ended up yanking those out. And because I would put it down and it would connect, and if I just bump it, it would turn off. I want that to be totally solid, and having those prongs, those prongs totally connecting for the electrical outlet or the electrical connectivity to run through the kit. Plus, I think I'm going to just switch over to a 9-volt battery. Okay, so that was very close, and I just need to force myself to get back to that, and I'll be done real quick. I am almost done with the Honda Beat. So close. It's a yellow, bright yellow finish, and every time I look at it more closely, I see like these tiny little black specks. And I wipe it with my finger, and I realize that it's not coming off, and I'm thinking, dude, what the hell? Why isn't this working? It's not noticeable until you get like super close, and I'm sure when I get to the end of the the model video, and you're gonna see like close-ups, I'm pretty sure you can probably see it because I take photographs, and photographs unfortunately kind of show a lot of the tiny little flaws. I'm just gonna leave it as is. I really am. The Rebel Transport, I need to weather that up more. All I did was just did like a gray overcoat to kind of blend the colors more. I'm going to do much more than that, so it's not going to look like a pretty clown. I'm also going to do this as well, painting up the Millennium Falcon, and hopefully get that done. Scott at Scale Model Addict, or the SMA for him. It stands for Scale Model Addict. It doesn't stand for shaking my ass or whatever. He has extended it. It was supposed to be December 15th, to coincide with the death of the Jedi or Last Jedi, whatever it is. I'm sorry, I go through this every year. I just don't give a crap about the Star Wars movie, and then I ended up watching it and I ended up liking it. And actually, currently, right now, I don't know what channel it is, but they're showing Empire Strikes Back, and I was watching that. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. The Hoth battle, and I really, really, really want to go back to doing the, finally getting to the diorama on that kit that I had started for the group build that Steve at SMKR had started. I do have these 3 Y-wings that I have yet to weather. I'm going to do that. I've done the decal application. I just need to start weathering those things. I've already done the clear coat on them. I'm not done with those. Since my friend sent me that box of neat stuff, I have gotten back into this. I've been doing some work on that. Actually, I went ahead and re-sprayed the body color, just totally like one more coat, because I wasn't satisfied. Now I think I'm pretty much satisfied. I need to do a clear coat on this and then start with the decaling and such. Hopefully you're going to see this done pretty soon. I need to make this a priority because Christmas is coming up, and this is for my dad. I have that replacement part, the axle, that was actually, it wasn't the axle, it was like that little thing that connects around it. I don't know, but anyhow, it was broken, so I got a replacement from round 2. What else? Oh, yes. Oh my gosh. You recognize these, don't you? I am working on my Fine Molds tie interceptor, and I haven't updated this in like a couple years, but I'm going back to this. You're finally going to see video 2 in this really soon. And I have started working on, here is the Eggplane Girls Summer. This is so slick. Oh man, those decals are just going to slide right onto this so easily. I've got the clear coat done. This is so smooth. I'm so happy with this. It's turning out very lovely. Very, very, very lovely. And I noticed that there's a little bit of, oh my gosh, I didn't see that. There's little dust specks. No, I hate you. Well, I'm going to put a bunch of decals on top of this, so maybe it doesn't matter. Dang it, I hate that. I really hate that. So yeah, this. The Eggplane P38. I got replacement decals for that. You're going to see that fiasco. I've already been, I've been doing a whole bunch of video footage, but there hasn't been anything really worthwhile to upload. Behind me, making progress on Yuri. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I need to sand down the joints, the gaps that I have filled on her arms. Make it look nice. I've also made more progress on my Nadia kits as well. Gundams. Alright, so a guy had contacted me about the Gundam that I had shown, I think, in the September video. He's like, hey, when are you going to build that? That looks interesting. And I've done it. I've got a whole bunch of stuff done on it, and I can probably upload a video on that really soon. I'm going to bang that out pretty quickly. It's going to be a lighting project. Where is it? Here, this is the box cover. This kit is really cool. It's just a big boosted Gundam, and you can just see like this coming out the back, and that's giving me some ideas. Got some LEDs, and it's nice and hollow in the middle. There was an MG version of this kit that was only like on the P Bandai site, and it's like I saw it for like, I don't know, like the equivalent of $200 $6 US. That's pretty expensive, but this is like a pre-HG kit from like the early to mid 90s. It's a 1/144 scale, and it's going to be lit up. I've kind of determined that there's enough internal space to run wires and such through there, and it's going to be neat. So what's his name? Wayne. Yeah, you're going to see that hopefully pretty soon. By the way, if you don't know, I have a Tumblr account, and I've been uploading some progress on the Tumblr account. Here, I am working on this. This is feeling actually kind of heavy because I've got so much more extra stuff I'm doing with this kit. Sorry, here we go. VF1J Valkyrie. This is a Bandai kit, but it's a repop of the Imai molds. And I got this for like 10,000 yen at Yodobashi like years ago. So check out my Tumblr. You're going to see this. I've got a bunch of video. I just need to compile it and make it into a video. What else? What else? I made notes. Okay, the Valkyrie, got the Gundam figures, stuff and things. Okay, so okay, again, this is, you know, a catalog of my mental illness here. Alright, so I'm going to show you the crap that I bought. First of all, let me show you. Actually, I bought this back in August. Dawn's Light and Magic, DLMparts.com. Finally, it took me 3 months. I started nagging him, and then finally he shipped it. He is calling it quits. But then again, he said that a year ago. This is a Babylon 5 Star Fury lighting kit. Comes with some clear cast resin. You got the blue for the thrusters. They just kind of, you know, drill out the middle of the thrusters and then put these little blue caps in there. House an LED behind it. You got this the cockpit in there where they just kind of stand. This is really cool. I mean, this is a real labor of love. And so like he's got pictures of like the studio, the cockpits and stuff, and like it comes with masks on where to put the masks down so that yeah, here it's got the masks. So you put the masks on the clear cockpit and then paint over it, and then there you go, peel off, and then you're good to go. That's really cool. And it also has decals in there. I'm saying it both ways to make Jared happy. Rebels at Cloud 9. He gets so much crap from people like, it's not decals, it's decals. It's like, okay, look, here's a Venn diagram. This is the United States. Okay, now here's another big circle. This is like the rest of the world, alright? And like the two circles do not intercept. You know, there's like two different circles. So don't get so upset when people pronounce things differently than you do. Ambassador class, and for layman's terms, this is the Enterprise C. These are decals for the trim. It's really cool. And I've got another order coming in, hopefully. This is from JT Graphics. He is I contacted him about getting some Enterprise C lifeboat decals, as well as some little tiny shuttles for the Galactica, because I'm going to be doing that group build with Steve, and I believe we've agreed to launch that, the buddy build, on the Battlestar Galactica TOS build starting in January, like with the New Year's. Anyhow, so he has those little tiny little resin shuttles to put inside the landing bays, and I also got some of those Enterprise C decals that are coming along with that. But it's already been a month. I emailed him a couple times, and he hasn't gotten back to me. This, and I know he is short-handed because I think he says on his website that his caster died last year, so he's kind of short-handed. Be kind of nice if these guys would, like, you know, give an ETA. Like Don's Light and Magic on his site, it says he even like kind of criticizes somebody's order. He doesn't give the guy's name, but he's like, well, look at this order. He only ordered one part, and it's not even clear cast for lighting. What the heck's with this guy? You know, it makes me so frustrated to see people blah blah blah. But the guy ordered one part from you, okay? If you know, because like in any of these forums, you know, these you know, sci-fi forums, people are always posting questions. Hey, what's with Don's Light and Magic? And he never responds to me. I ordered this 2 months ago, and it's really it's kind of difficult to commit to buying more than just a little bit because you don't know if they're gonna take your money. Like there was a guy, HDA Models. Like that guy was notorious for just pocketing people's money. He took like thousands of dollars and he never bothered paying anybody back. And it was always like, oh, you know, my dog has cancer, or my aunt died again, or there's always some excuse. And then like I saw on this one forum that he even showed up to try to defend himself, and people were like, hey dude, where's my money? Oh, don't worry, you'll get it. And these other people are like, you know what, he seems like a nice guy. He says he's promising these people, he's making promises. I'm just going to go ahead and put in like $100 order, and it's just SMH. You don't do that. I mean, the guy is notorious for ripping people off, and yet people are still giving him the benefit of the doubt. And then I think Ad Creation is finally gone. And the website's still up, but he had stopped selling directly to people, and he was just going to be just wholesaling to other vendors, but even that didn't work out. Maybe those vendors didn't get their money either. I don't know. So I'm not accusing these other guys, because obviously I got DLM, I got my stuff. JT, I've worked with him before, and I've bought stuff from him in the past. You know, they're trustworthy, but when you're dealing with these aftermarket parts and there's like little to no communication, that's enough for a lot of people to be really hesitant to buy. So it's, you know, I understand them, and I also kind of understand, you know, as me as a customer, it's like you kind of want to have good communication with people, and that's why I can't stop talking about Jerry at HDA Modelworx. Fantastic service. You will not be disappointed. He is super cool, and he's very approachable, and he does respond to your emails. Anyhow, enough of that topic. I did have one run in with one guy. I'll talk about that later, maybe. Oh my gosh. So anyhow, I can finally put these in their respective boxes. Stuff and things. These are things that I have bought. I got this pretty cheaply. This is the Armored Valkyrie. This is by Imai. This is a 1/100 scale. The decals are kind of yellowed. I have them taped up in my window. It's nice because the winter sun is like shining, just beating down directly through the window here. Well, it's night now, so it's not shining now, but it's getting plenty of sunlight. Hopefully they're going to bleach out fairly well. This is pretty cool. The thing with RD and Imai is, you know, Imai has better proportions, RD has better details, plus they use polycaps, and their decals are usually nicer. But, you know, this is pretty cool. RD has a 1/72 scale Armored Valkyrie, and that one it goes for a lot more. But, and this is an Imai kit that I don't believe Bandai has repopped. I don't think. It makes me wonder if they even have the molds. I don't know. Imai was a company in Shizuoka City that went bankrupt over 10 years ago, or maybe like close to 15 years ago, I think. They sold a lot of their molds to Bandai. Aoshima got their speed racer, Maha Gogogo, and also their Mospita kits, and they've been re-popping those Mospita kits. But Bandai, I don't think they've ever re-popped this thing. Something else I got from the same vendor. Both of these, I got these on Yahoo Auctions Japan, or Yaj as I call it. This is Super Valkyrie VF1S. Now I have a VF1S Gerwalk, or I'm sorry, a VF1D Gerwalk, and I thought maybe it would have the same parts for the fast pack, but it doesn't. As with this one, really bad, horrible decals. I'm bleaching them out. I hope I can use them. I don't know. It totally reeked of mildew in here. Both of these kits were just in bad shape. I washed them all off, but inside the boxes were all spotty from mildew, and that's why I'm glad I moved out. And I used to live so close to the ocean. I could ride my bike within 10 minutes and I'd be looking at the ocean. Mildew like crazy in my old apartment. This is cool. I've always wanted this kit. Oh my gosh, this is, as you can see, the Katinga, which I think it's 1/537 scale to match the Enterprise 1/537. Some people call it like a 600 scale. I don't know. It looks big enough to be 537. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math because I don't care. This is cool. And I didn't feel like getting the new one because it's just repopped, but just with different decals. And with this kit, I don't really care about decals so much because you can barely see anything. But going back to JT Graphics, I'm going to be buying a whole bunch of that stuff. He's got a whole bunch of nice resin upgrade parts for this kit to make it look nice. And like, for example, the bulb and the bridge has to be completely redone. There's also some nice photo etched by Fedoratron, and I'll get the photo etched for them. There's also like if you want to do the Kronos 1, there's a photo etch set for that you can buy on Cult TV Man. Oh, yeah, Steve at Cult TV Man is another guy I can recommend. I don't think I've bought any. Yeah, well, I bought stuff from him at the Wonderfest at, in the Kentucky last year, but yeah, he's really super cool. I talked to him for a very long time. Really neat guy. Okay, so these are all just Yaj snags. Okay, this is cool. I got this for like a really decent price. This is actually 2 kits. These are PVC, 1/6 scale, Rey and Asuka, from, of course, Evangelion. See, I really like the pose, especially the Rey pose. It's really nice looking. I like that. Isn't that great? I think it's great. So these are PVC. I don't know if the V-Color, the soft vinyls V-Color paints would work on these or not. I'll test them out, see if it works. But pretty cool. Only 2,000 yen. These other two, these were like 1,000 yen each. So if you think I'm mentally deranged, maybe I am, but for spending money on these kits, I don't get them for the high prices that a lot of you guys do, because I live in Japan. I'm not saying that to rub it in or anything, but it's one of the perks of living here. I don't have people out to kill me. I can walk the streets of Tokyo late at night and feel safe. Yeah, and I can get access to cheap models. Although that's something that depends on some of the models. Sometimes you might find it for cheaper on eBay in North America for cheaper, because people don't really appreciate it as well as as Japanese people do. This is something, I bought this at my local hobby shop. This is the Meve. It looks like Moe, but it's the V, Meve. That's how they pronounce it in Japan. I was thinking, you know, my friend Gary, he was talking about maybe, we were giving ideas about maybe lighting this up. Dorobo Hige lit his up. And while it looks cool, I don't think it's really necessary to do exactly the way he did it. The engine for this thing and the back, there's like this little like a bullet-shaped kind of back, but it's all hollow back there. And I was thinking of, instead of using that bullet, just put in an LED. This is a 5mm LED, and it would glow. I put in a flickering blue LED, but I think I might do a flickering white because I rewatched the beginning of the movie, and when she's going super fast, it goes from blue to white. And this would be super easy. It's kind of tight in there, but just kind of stick some wires out. That might be kind of just a one light lighting project. What else? Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, I think this is the last thing to show you. Alright, so I got another model from my friend Gary, and it was a model that actually goes, I see gougers. When I bought mine, I got mine at Wonder Festival a couple of years ago in Chiba, and I didn't buy that, I didn't pay that much for it, but I see a bunch of gougers on Yahoo Auctions Japan, and actually it's this. I posted an unboxing of this on Tumblr, and it has like hundreds of likes. It's like, I don't know, it got retweeted by the right people. It's really cool because this model kit, you pull it out, and there's like 2 model kits in this actually, and they look like video cassettes. It's really, really clever. Neat though. They did another one for Touch, and another anime. I think there's 3 in this series, but this is a fantastic adventure of Yoko Leda, and I got this from my friend, and I didn't pay that much at all. It was only like 1,500 yen, but it came with another kit, and so I'm kind of considering this as like I got this for free. This is a Tsukuda Hobby. This is Benten from Urusei Yatsura. And once again, the actual pose doesn't look like it does at all on the box. She's actually like sitting down. Here's what it actually looks like. I think I kind of like the cover art where she's got black hair. That's more like the comic book kind of a color. But here you see her with red hair. She kind of somewhat looks like Kay from Dirty Pair a little bit. And she's holding a rifle. Here's some other stuff they did. This is like from the early 80s or so. It's got Nausicaa, they got Supergirl, I think her name is Cham, yeah, from Aura Battle at Dumbine. They got Lum from Urusei Yatsura and Captain America. It's a resin kit. It looks really nasty. I need to clean this up. But anyhow, I'm not going to show the whole thing. Yeah, that's the stuff that I have bought recently. So a guy who watches my videos, his name is James, he has done something really super special for me. This is the laser blaster for Yuri, for the Dirty Pair figure that I'm working on. Now, he told me that, because he has the original kit, the one I have is a bootleg, the original kit comes with a pewter blaster gun, and so this is apparently just like a really sloppily cast, resin recast of that pewter gun. Check this out. He made this, and I told him, wow, that is so fantastic, and he just sent it to me. I was just really blown away. This is unpainted, but yeah, see, there's the barrel on this one is like, there's not much there, but he has made this really fantastic looking barrel for the laser gun. That is so cool. And this is just polystyrene that he made all this out of. So he showed me pictures of the customized action figures and stuff that he's worked on. Really, really talented guy. And he just gave this to me, so very, very big thank you to James. You'll notice here he put like this wire mesh here, which is really cool looking. So once I get this thing painted, it's going to look pretty nice, I think. Neat stuff. Something else I've gotten back into. There we go. I've been kind of reignited my passion for these guys. This is perler beads, iron beads. Here's Sonic the Hedgehog, and this is I don't know what her name is, from Burning Force on the Mega Drive. So these are both Mega Drive games, Genesis games, and I made these wait, is it supposed to go like that? No, it goes like this. Anyhow, I've been doing this stuff. My daughter's getting involved with that too. She kind of thinks it's fun. Iron beads are pretty neat, and I've got like a whole bunch of them up here. I got them a whole bunch in my bedroom as well too. Most of them are in my hobby room. I need to do another hobby room. I need to do another hobby room video. It's been a long time since I've done that. Anyhow, let's talk about questions.
Yes. Questions.
Okay, so I only have one question, but it's a good question. So the guy, he said that he likes my video. I did Aoshima with the light, the scanner light, and he was wanting to know where he could get them. Well, guess what? You can't anymore. Aoshima. So that was one of the fun parts of working for a model company, was spending time in the warehouse and just fulfilling orders and such. And so, but I knew that these things were not going to be made anymore. As far as I know, maybe they will have future plans. I'm no longer privy to that kind of a thing. I do know though that like on Yahoo Shopping Japan, people are gouging for these things. Now this one particularly, okay, so when I worked there, all they had were the red ones, the regular Knight Rider ones. There's actually two in this one because I bought two with my employee discount, and I just threw one box away and crammed the other one in here. This one is empty, or I'm sorry, this one is brand new, shrink wrapped. This is the orange one. This is for car. This is not for kit. This is for car. So there were two. The red one's for kit, and they had an orange one for car. And it has like those little LR44 batteries you put in there. It makes the kit look really awesome. It was the first lit model that I ever did, and that was really cool. So anyhow, when I realized that because they didn't have any of these in their stock at all, I started looking around and I saw how expensive they were going for. This is like about a year or more ago, and because I had the parts to build my own car, because I think they had like a pre-painted one that Aoshima had made, and it looked okay, but it was like silver, like on the Knight Rider, the bottom along the trim, it was silver for car. And if you watch the show, actually, so I think in season 1 you see Car, and he looks identical to Kit, and then he reappears I think in season 3, and it's not silver along the bottom, but it's more like a light gray, like a pale gray color. So I want to paint it, and I have the decals for it and everything, but I want to paint it looks like the TV show. Anyhow, so people were gouging for this on Yahoo Shopping Japan, and then I found one seller who had these things, and he obviously didn't know how rare these were becoming, and I paid like maybe 1,500 yen for this thing here. These alone go for like over like 10,000 yen. And that's not necessarily being sold for that much, but that's what the gougers are expecting on Yahoo Shopping. No thank you. As you may know, the 1537 Enterprise refit is being re-released by round 2. It's basically just a reissue. It does not have any sort of Aztec decaling, as far as I know. It does not have those terrible grid lines corrected or anything like that, but that is being re-released. So, with Dawn's Light and Magic perhaps going goodbye, that it would certainly not be good for people who are wanting to get some accurized parts. However,
I've got good news.
I am told that there will be another aftermarket parts supplier who will be making new 537 refit aftermarket parts, and so there will be someone who will kind of move in and take over for the gap that Don will be leaving with his departure, assuming that he is going to be calling it quits like he says he is. So, I think that's about it for the models talk. So, I'm going to talk about some current events and stuff, so trigger warning. Alright, so, this is something that I kind of knew about, and then Jared, Rebels at Cloud9, sent me this video about, people have been trying to raise awareness about the videos that are rather questionable. They're aimed towards kids, but are definitely not for kids. Years ago, like when I started getting into YouTube, there was the Angry Video Game Nerd. I haven't watched his stuff in a very long time, but he would do a thing with like, he would beat the crap out of his friend was wearing a Bugs Bunny outfit, and then he would pretend that like he craps in the guy's in Bugs Bunny's face, and it's obvious that it's not poop or whatever, but it's also obvious that his videos are not really meant for kids. There have been a whole bunch of these videos that are intended for kids, but they are rather gross. So you've got like Spider-Man has to use the toilet, but Elsa is in there, and so Spider-Man pisses on Elsa, and then they've got like Mickey pooping on Minnie and stuff. I mean, this is like it's not like what what's his name, the video game nerd did. I forget his name. That was just kind of silly and horsing around and stuff, but this is more like almost sexual kind of stuff, and it's geared towards kids, and it's pretty disgusting. And of course kids, I'm a father, I know kids talk about poop and pee and stuff, but when you actually feed that to them in their imagination, then they're kind of like, oh gross, that's gross, right? When I worked at the Computer Access Center at my university, and there was a guy I worked with who, I swear, because like when you work at night, there's a lot of downtime, there's not much to do. This guy, he would watch like rotten.com or something. I don't know if that site's even around anymore, don't look at it, but maybe I shouldn't have mentioned that. Anyhow, so like there would be videos of like this guy who would like wrap himself up in saran wrap. He would make a diaper out of saran wrap and he would crap himself. Just weird stuff, like this Asian girl, she would puke in a goblet and then she would drink it and stuff. I'm like, that is so disgusting. He's like, yeah, I know, it's gross. I'm like, well, then why are you watching it? Well, you know, and I'm like, look, you know, people don't just out of the blue, like, you know what, I will decide to be turned on by people pooping on each other. It doesn't happen. But you keep putting, you know, these thoughts into your mind, and then you start, like, wanting to feed on that, and you're revolted, but yet you get kind of drawn towards it. And then what you think about, you start to feel, and what you start to feel, you actually might start to act on it. And that's pretty gross. Now, what you saw in the earlier in this video with the InfoWars, Leanne, she was just in a really weird sleep deprived mode, but she was wanting to talk about sex robots, and she saw that the caller that, you know, I'm from Japan, so she assumed that I might know about that because Japan admittedly has a lot of really kinky crap here. I saw a video recently by David Zublik that he was talking about, like, they have these sex dolls that look like little girls, like really, really young little girls, and they have robot versions that they can be programmed to either protest it and ask, you know, plead and beg to say, no, please don't rape me, and then they have other ones that want it, and so that's where, you know, some people would, like the libertarian mindset would say, you know what, they're not hurting anybody, they're just hurt, you know, with their stupid blow up doll or whatever, you're not hurting anybody, leave them alone. If it doesn't go further than that, that's okay, but yeah, that's a slippery slope. And if they, you know, if there's a push to ban that kind of a thing, especially if it's underage, yeah, I would not object to any sort of laws passed against that kind of stuff. Really nasty. So, you know, this was reported before on other channels, and then Mike Cernovich posted about it. And then it was on InfoWars. It was on a whole bunch of other stuff that it made big news. How to have sex with kids, or well, that kind of stuff. It would show up. By the time I got around to testing it, some of them had been removed, but the autocomplete in the search field, disgusting, man. YouTube has been turning a blind eye to this for a very long time. I have seen like David Seaman on his channel. He has talked about, like, the guy Jack, I forget his last name, but he is the CEO of Twitter, who is kind of complicit to this kind of stuff. You know, WikiLeaks, they really dropped a big bombshell, and you people who don't know about what was inside the WikiLeaks, John Podesta, Hillary Clinton, they never said, hey, those are not my emails. I don't know where they're getting this stuff from. No, they do not deny it. They just say, oh, it's boring, you know, and they just hope that you're not going to look at it. But the satanic practices, the references to child molestation, child sex trafficking, this stuff is really nasty. And it's coming out that, like, this guy who spent, like, all these millions of dollars to try to air these ads on TV about let's impeach the president, and guess what? He was in WikiLeaks talking about the pasta and walnut pasta and such, and it's, you know, little kids from Haiti or other places, you know, it's like the children of color, you would, you know, translate that as. It's really disgusting. And you know, the YouTube, and gosh, people, we've been talking about, hey, you know, YouTube is a sinking ship. I don't want to give up on it. You know, I've been kind of uploading my personality on this channel for 9 years almost. Yeah, it's been 9 years already. It's amazing. But I don't want to go anywhere. I guess VidMe's great, but I have so much content on here that, you know, I don't know. It's kind of home, and I've known a lot of people through this place. Oh, I can only hope that Google gets sued. And we are seeing some talk about the new director of the FCC, I forget his last name, but I think that's his name, talking about antitrust and this blatant censorship that is going on with YouTube. You know, all of this pedophile stuff has gotten a pass, but if you know, people who dare to question the mainstream media, and the people who are exposing the lies of the mainstream media, like CNN. I mean, you look at Mark Dice's channel, he is constantly exposing these people in outright lies and distortion, and the total fake. You know, you see like these two people at the split screen, and this woman's talking to this woman supposedly, like, you know, in two different parts of the city, and you see the same car drive past this lady, and then you see it come out this, you know, the other way behind the other woman, and they're just standing at like different parts of the street and pretending to talk to each other in different parts of the city. For me, I don't think I'm that clever enough to spot a lot of this stuff, but people really can, you know, find this stuff that's going on. Yeah, the mainstream media is just nothing but lies, and the people on YouTube, you know, YouTube has been censoring minorities, and especially you know, African American people who get on YouTube and denounce the race baiting, just disgusting crap that's going on. People, I don't care what side of the political spectrum people are on. You know, I find fault with both, obviously. But YouTube, their contract, if you're going to monetize your videos, you know, it's the you in YouTube. If you're not personally calling for, like, violence against people, and if you're not putting in pornographic stuff, you should be able to talk about stuff freely. But they are constantly demonetizing people's videos for just anybody who doesn't go along with the lies and the distortion. Perfect example, I really enjoy watching Diamond and Silk. Now their videos are, you know, a couple of feisty ladies who they're black, and they hate the Democrat Party. They are exposing the racism within the Democrat Party. You tune into their videos, and that's what you're going to see.
Look, I tried to see it from all sides.
We tried to see it with all 8 eyes.
Those of you that snuck off the Democratic plantation to hear Diamond and Silk tonight, listen.
Yes, listen.
I tried to hear it from your side. I tried to hear your ballot and viewpoints.
Yeah.
But I see a system called the Democrats that's trying to keep people down.
That's right.
And beneath you.
Yeah.
And want you to be handed crumbs.
Yeah.
And want to feed you a narrative. And want you to eat that. And we can't let that happen.
No, they're not going to.
We can't let that happen.
They want to be in control. Okay? They want to name you all, and they want to be in control. And if they can control you, they can keep the money in their pocket and just give you pennies. Okay? That's why whenever you start doing something and you start climbing the ladder, the first thing they do is cut your finance.
You can we can be a witness.
Yes.
We were climbing the ladder with our YouTube channel. The liberal left. We don't like what you talk about. What did they do? Cut us off. Those was not Republican. Those were Democrats.
You would think, oh, they're just a couple of ladies who are just a couple of cheerleaders or something rather for the president, and it shouldn't be any harm or whatever. But when they start talking about stuff like this.
Yes.
Well, honey, speaking of Hillary Clinton, child, listen, people are committing suicide. Now, listen, it is not funny that people are taking lives. But what I need to know is everybody that is tied to them in some way, why do they have to kill themselves? Is they that bad of people where I just need to just stab myself to death? This is becoming suspicious because it looks like the body count is stacking up.
It's stacking up.
Now, I'm not accusing anybody of anything. All I know is I keep hearing this man has committed suicide after doing this here with Hillary Clinton. You had somebody, he was an operative. He tried to obtain Hillary Clinton's email from Russian hackers. He committed suicide after speaking to the Wall Street Journal the other day. And then you had somebody else. What was his name?
But wait.
Come on, girl.
Can we just go back to
Let's go back.
Operative? Peter Smith is his name.
Yeah, Peter Smith.
The cause of his death, wait a minute, was due to asphyxiation, due to displacement of oxygen in a confined space with helium.
You mean what you blow up in a balloon?
Girl, he was found with a bag over his head and a helium source attached, and they called that suicide.
No, that ain't no. Listen, you ain't nobody gonna kill them. I don't want to see nothing about. Why the hell would he be messing with balloon stuff?
Yeah, so when they get into discussions like this, it kind of they're treading into InfoWars territory.
Good. Yes.
Yeah, so that's what they're being censored for, and they don't want people to have expressed freedom of their own opinions. They want to try to convince that there's these white nationalists and they're all racists and they're all gonna just lynch people. Case in point, I had a friend I was talking to online. This guy, he was so convinced that America is being overrun by white supremacists, and I'm like, dude, you're being totally lied to. And I backed up. I sent him some emails, referenced everything, showing him that you don't want to be manipulated by these people who spread so much just disinformation. And I think he was more comfortable with the idea that there was going to be these police officers who are looking to pull him over and shoot him in the face for no reason, just because they have nothing better to do with their jobs. And he got upset with me, and he stopped talking to me. It's like, look, am I going to tell you, oh, you know what, you got to be careful. These white people are all gonna, there's legions of them. They're gonna noose you and hang you up and kill you. Would that make him happy? Would I still be his friend if I was to tell him this crap, or if I showed him the distortion and the lies? No, that pulled him out of his comfort zone, and he got all upset and told me goodbye. So, kind of sad. He's a nice guy, but he's just really totally deceived. There's not the statistics to back up this kind of stuff. There is, however, a lot of fake hate crimes, and that is the other thing, that the people on YouTube are being, that they're exposing this stuff. See, this is where YouTube, when there's censorship, is really, really hurting themselves, because they are trying to silence people who are exposing the lies of the mainstream media. And before YouTube came along, there was like internet, like some primitive websites or whatever, but through social media, anybody, like even myself, can put out stuff and hopefully shed some light on people. Like back in May, I uploaded a video of those Syrian assholes. Those they were obviously faking, and you see the camera doing the whole mannequin challenge, and they're all frozen, and then all of a sudden you know, they add in the sound effects and the guy's screaming in pain and stuff. Oh no, there's a bomb that went off. Just seconds before that, they were just kind of just paused, and it's totally fake, and that's how they do it, because these people, in you know, these those terrorists, they have nothing, you know, there's no Syria's Got Talent or something like that. These people are their own rock stars by posing like this stuff, and it gets picked up by the media, and oh no, these people were killed in a gas attack or whatever, and it's a bunch of fake crap. Or in October, I uploaded a video of that taxi driver, the woman, and you can definitely, if you listen to the video carefully, you can hear it's not an echo, because you don't hear the echo before the gunshots at the Las Vegas massacre, and it was not a bump feed rifle. Those were belt, not bump stock. They were not bump stocks. They were belt feed, because bump stocks are like when you shoot those off. The belt feeder matches the rate of fire and everything. You know, of course I got a bunch of thumbs down on that. Dude, why? I mean, I don't understand why people would thumbs down some of those videos. It's not really refutable. It's obviously that people are being lied to. So, yeah. Really stupid. Alright, now going back to models. This is probably going to be a long video. I'm sorry. But there are people who enjoy watching and hearing what I have to say. You know, going back to the YouTube thing, you know, I like Steve, Scale Model Kit Review, SMKR, Gyrus, Rich in England, of course, Jared, Rebels of Cloud9 in Canada. Being an expatriate living in Japan, and with not a whole lot of access to people that I can really call good friends, this is part of the reason why I do these videos, is because I can kind of share with people the stuff I'm working on, and it's nice to get to know some of these people. There's a bunch of people who will comment on my videos. John is another one. Bad Grendels, Scott, Scale Model Addict, or the other Scott, Kit Base in New Zealand. This is a really cool experience being on YouTube, and that's why I don't want to just, you know, give up and just go to VidMe or something like that, because, you know, this place is, you know, YouTube's kind of like home, you know, for me. But at the same time, I see people who are just such jerks to each other, and I don't understand why. Of course, Darren, Tokyo Model Detective, is another friend of mine on here. And there's other people who I've never really talked to in person, but like Max Brandt, I see his comments a lot on my videos. Galindoa 1972. I really appreciate getting people. D Mousetrap 1. I look forward to your guys' comments. There's another guy, Avenger, I think, what was his name? Avenger 2 or something like that. I haven't heard from him in a long time. And I noticed that when people stop making comments. But yeah, I'm very approachable, and I've gotten to talk. You know, I do Skype with Jared and such, and finally got to do a Skype with Steve outside of Styrene Syndicate and stuff. But you know, Red Dragon Modelworx, Styrene Syndicate, super cool guy. But as somebody who I see And there was somebody else who did a video. he was expressing how upset he is at some of the shenanigans that are going on, and the guy chose to do the video outside, and you can hear like this traffic going by. You can't even hear what he's saying. I was thinking of maybe doing a spoof video with like going to an airport and having like 747s flying over my head when I'm trying to talk about stuff. But anyhow, the guy has a point. You know, it's when I see Gil, he's created these groups and to bring modelers together and such, and to see him with this pettiness. And now that I know who is doing it, these are people who I thought were cool that I've been on video chats with in the past, and then I learn about you know, the reason why for some of their hatred, and then I realize that it's a complete misunderstanding. But when you get people who are creating fake accounts and changing the avatar and making it look like somebody, to deceive people and piss people off, that is so just so low level. And I'm really shocked, because these are people I thought were pretty cool. It's just, I mean, come on, we're all modelers. And there's another group. Oh, what are they called? These three guys, and I think all three of them are in Texas. And it's a Facebook thing, and I'm not on Facebook, so I don't really know about it. But I've been told about these guys too, and they're always just like they will take pictures of people's models that they've built, and they'll criticize them harshly and say, "Oh, they just built this straight out of the box. This is so unimaginative, and they could have done more with this, but they suck because of this." And then I've seen them trying to defend themselves in different forums, and then they get like blocked, and then they come back with it as a different user and to try to circumvent that, and then they get blocked again. It's crazy. I don't know what they're called. I totally forget the I don't know. These guys are just totally just jerks. Okay, I alluded to this before. They're not going to make any names. I'm not going to name who this person is, but I was on a certain forum, and I was talking about my experience going to the Tokyo Hobby Show at the end of September. And I talked with a Bandai rep, and before I had gone, and I do this every year, I had asked people, hey, give me your requests. I'll talk to some of these Bandai reps and give them some ideas. And, like people are always saying, we need to have a 1/72nd scale B-Wing or a TIE bomber. And so I'm doing this because I'm interested in getting a 1/72nd scale TIE bomber from Bandai. I'm probably not going to buy a 1/44th scale Imperial shuttle, but I can see where people are interested in that, because the old AMT kit is not that good and it's expensive. I really don't even have that many of these Star Wars kits. I've been really collecting the tiny ones, but I don't really. When I've got like 2 X-Wings, a Snowspeeder, AT-AT, ATST, Y-Wing, A-Wing, and that's it. At least for the larger kits. Oh, and also the Millennium Falcon. I haven't been buying a whole ton of these kits, but as a favor for people, I'm like, hey, I hear people are really interested in this kind of stuff, and one of the things I gave them the idea for is maybe like doing some other droids, because I really like the R2-D2 and the R5-D4 kit, and because I have ideas of doing the different types of robots that you see in the movie. But there's like, for example, there's this guy here, this Conehead guy, R4I9. They also have like another like R2 unit with like the dome, but it's see-through. this is, I call this guy the Conehead. The Power Droid, Gonk. That would be great. Or the Death Star Droid. I gave them these ideas, right? So I was reporting back to these people on a forum, and this guy got pissed off at me. And he's like, oh, I swear this Greg hasn't ever heard of me before. And I'm like, look, if you have something to say, just say it. Stop with the passive-aggressive crap. And then he laid into me. He's like, well, because apparently, I'm not going to say who he is, but he does resin kits, and he does a lot of Star Wars stuff. And I think, I'm just guessing, but he went apeshit on me because I guess he was feeling kind of paranoid, like I'm personally trying to put him out of business or something like that. I'm not. I didn't even know what he did, really. I know that that he does these kits, but I don't know what subjects he's done. I don't pay attention, especially because all he does is stuff on Facebook, and I'm not on Facebook, so, whatever. And if, if you know who you are if you're watching this video and you're getting all pissed off at me. Again, I'm not saying who you are. I'm not telling anybody to not buy from you, but personally, I won't do it, because I had people saying, well, dude, I just saw that, and I don't know what the hell, man, just, I don't know why he went off on you like that. You weren't doing anything. Yeah, he was accusing me of, like, kind of like the cult of personality. Like, he was thinking that I'm just doing this, like I'm bragging about that I live in Japan and stuff. I'm not. Heck, I didn't even mention, if I was, let me think how to say this. I have seen so many of these people, especially on YouTube, who have these channels are like, oh, look at me, I live in Japan, and that's the whole center of it. People who watch my stuff, they don't really know that I live in Japan, and until they watch me for a while, they might pick up on that. I don't make a big deal out of it. I don't even really go to any hobby shops and do videos of those anymore. So anyhow, this guy was accusing me of like just being like this boastful, condescending person. Oh, look at me, I live in Japan and you don't, and I talk to these company employees, and I was just doing this to be nice. I'm not doing this to have people kiss my butt. Although when he saw like a whole bunch of people saying, oh, thank you, I can only wish that, someday I could go to these events like you can. That's cool. That's not the reason why I'm sharing this. We're sharing a hobby together, But this guy just went off on me. And then I saw it again. These other people, they were commenting on okay, it was I don't know if I should say it. It was a Star Wars model resin kit that you have never seen kitted before. I'll leave it at that. And these people are like saying, oh, come on, Bandai, please, right? And this guy's like, basically, oh, you're looking a gift horse in the mouth. You're complaining about Bandai hasn't made this, but you got a perfectly good resin kit. It only costs $220, and you guys are stupid if you want to pay only like 1/10 of that price, because I have bills to pay. And so he's laying into these people again, and it's like, dude, they have the license, you don't. And I don't mind, if I really was a total asshole, and I've got these people's business cards, I've talked to these people, I could, alert to them, hey, guess what, this guy, he's making, and I won't. Especially because at least he's smart enough to not do kits that are already commercially available, so at least he's smart that way. But, yeah, I'm not a vindictive person as he was accusing me of being. This is really bizarre.
How dare you say such a thing to me? How dare you say such a thing to me? How dare you say such a thing to me?
Why can't we all just get along.
It's funny because like he was accusing me of like being like condescending, or sanctimonious was the word that he used, and like I want people to look at me, and yet he's pissed off because I don't memorize his catalog of items that he's used, and most of them are not even available anymore. Sorry, I don't care. I was thinking about buying something from him before, the one thing I knew that he did make, but I'm not buying anything now. And he was wanting to make a popularity contest out of it about some people who he been contacted by, and apparently those people are siding with him. Well, if you want to make a popularity contest, I don't care, because I'm not the one making, you know, a business out of this stuff. I'm not losing any sales, although I do know from at least myself and a couple other people who've told me that, dang, I'm not buying anything from this guy if he has that attitude. Oh, that's right, I just remembered. There is one thing I want to mention about, this was not a specific question that I've gotten on my YouTube channel, but I see this a lot. People are always talking about washing their kits before they build them. In my experience, round 2 kits, Mobius kits, you definitely have to wash them off. But when you are talking about Japanese manufacturers, sorry, I'm kind of thirsty. Is there water around here? Oh, there we go. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so Japanese manufacturers of model kits, I have never washed the plastic, and I've never had any problems with that before. So your miles may vary, but like this stuff that I use, you might see it in my videos. This is by Fine Molds. It even says right here, you use this on like resin kits or plastic kits that are made outside of Japan. The kits in China, I think you don't have to wash those off, as far as I know. So yeah, that's one thing I forgot to mention before. So now we're at the end of this video. I'm kind of running out of things to talk about. So yeah, let's talk about the sex robots. Okay, so again, this is not really what I was planning on talking about. So InfoWars had like a 32 or 34 hour marathon on the internet, and they were celebrating the 1 year anniversary of Trump's election, and celebrating 1 year of salt mining. And it was about 7 p.m. my time, and I'm like, hey, this is one of my chances of actually calling in the show, because it's like 2 or 3 in the morning in Texas, where they broadcast from. So I actually called in and I got to talk to them, and because she was in a weird mood, Leanne, when she was talking about these sex robots, she saw the list of people, and she saw that I was calling from Japan. And so I got bumped to the top of the list, so I actually got to talk to the InfoWars people. So here you go.
All right, you want to bring Greg on the air?
I do.
Go ahead.
Hello there, Greg, in Japan. I am curious if you've seen any of these robots. Do you know what I'm talking? Like, what's going on there in Japan with the robots, sex robots, especially?
I'm married and I have a kid, so I'm kind of out of that sort of thing. But I'm sure there are sex robots.
What about robot cafes? The cafes with the robots.
I know they have maid cafes where they have these, they're dressed up like French maids and they act subservient and stuff. I've never been to one because that just is not my thing. I can tell you about koi ponds, and I know that my father-in-law, he just dumps the fish food in there all the time.
Right.
So it's
that's very interesting.
We have them here in Austin.
Well, but okay. At least just like throw me a bone here. Do they have those like cafes where people stay in there for like 18 hours a day and just play video games? So easy transition.
Yeah.
They have those in New York. What are you talking about?
No, but people are actually like showing up dying there and stuff.
Yeah. Oh, dying. Oh.
Yeah, from too much video games. Anyway.
Well, they have these the manga cafes. They are you just read comic books and surf the net and play video games and stuff. Some of them have showers, so you can stay at those places instead of at hotels.
Well, I mean, playing video games is hard work. I mean.
Well, especially when I play video games and like 13 hours go by like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I play a classic N64 for a couple hours. I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah, Dig Dug. I played that for a week.
Dig Dug. Was that on Atari?
It was right after Pong came out.
Right after that.
Showing my age.
Hey, Greg, what led you to call in tonight?
Oh, well, it's cool because actually it's only 7 p.m. here, and this is one of my few chances of actually calling in the show.
I love that. We've had a couple callers say that. That's great.
That's what people are like, who's up right now? I'm like, people on the other side of the planet. Yay.
So, yeah, I watch you guys on YouTube. Actually, I've been telling the people in the live chat that I'm on the phone with you guys. So, yeah, so you were talking about why people were happy that Trump got elected. So I came from a strongly Republican family, okay? My dad was involved in politics and such back. He still is a bit. But, living in Japan, it really changed my point of view a bit. And that's kind of what led me to InfoWars. And so...
How long have you been in Japan?
I started... this time around, it's been almost 6 years. I've lived here before, though. So I'm married to a J girl. And it's funny because some, the moonbats on Twitter, they might accuse me of being racist or whatever. And the last one who did that, I said, look, I'm married to a Japanese woman. I live in Japan, and we have a biracial, multilingual family. And then she just blocked me on Twitter. So typical moonbat.
Yeah.
But wait a second.
No, you're not. That's the thought crime.
Do you support Trump?
Thought crime, Greg.
Oh, yeah.
Racist.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so,
Clearly.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, by default. So the thing is, when I started really learning about the Monsanto and GMOs and how Dick Cheney is responsible for aspartame and that kind of stuff, just
made a lot of money.
I didn't want to believe it at first, but I started really studying about it. I'm like, wow, this is pretty crazy. And I was getting really, really upset with the Republican Party because all of them were just on board with Monsanto. And I'm really hoping that Trump is going to drain the GMO swamp. And when
that's one thing that Trump, I've never really heard Trump talk about GMOs, actually. I don't think I can recall him ever talking about it.
I really wish he would do that, but
I would have to look that up because I know he's talked about vaccines and stuff, and his wife is really into that.
Yeah.
So,
yes, yeah, I think Alex and Roger, they need to kind of slip that to him. I know he's tackling bigger fish and such right now, but
then the food supply.
So,
I don't know. Those kois were pretty big.
Well, see, with TPP, I was afraid of that happening because here in Japan, we don't have antibiotics-laden milk and such. The GMOs are more or less properly identified and at the store and such. And TPP would have totally changed that. And I figured that, I would not find a Republican who would be anti-TPP. And for a while, I know you guys got to hate me for this, but for a while I was considering voting for Bernie because he was
we know the attraction.
yeah. and anti-Monsanto. Those are the only two things I was really happy with him about. But it's funny because once he and Trump were really gaining momentum about TPP and such, Hillary started changing her tune, and even the
that's right.
Remember
they used to do the jokes. They did the jokes where Hillary started talking and then she turned into Bernie Sanders. That was the joke because she literally stole all of his campaign talking points. Guys, look that up. I think it was an SNL skit, and they did this multiple times. Hillary Clinton literally turns into Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and then it's like you can't talk about the TPP when she was in the Obama administration during the time that whole thing is being negotiated. And at the time, she was like, "Yeah, I like that TPP. It's a great deal. It's really good." But
free trade.
Yeah. Then when she's like helping to write it, then she changes her whole tune.
There it is.
There's the Bernie.
Okay, so I'm going to end the video now with one last thing. It is now December 2nd. It's the next day after I had done the previous part of this video. It's up to an hour and a half long. Maybe this is the longest one yet. So anyhow, I hope people have enjoyed listening to this while working on models or something. I got this tonight. I went to Hobby the Tomy, or Tomy the Hobby, or I forget what the name of the store is in Maebashi City. And oh my gosh. So I found this, there was a review for this kit on, I think it was Cyber Hobby or something like that, Cyber Modeler, or something like that. There is a nice website. I'll leave a link in the description. Anyhow, so this is the Su-27 Flanker Ukrainian Air Force Digital Camouflage. When I saw a review for that kit on that page, I flipped out. I thought it was really, really cool. So I looked it up on Yahoo Shopping in Japan, and it is very expensive. And auctions, I couldn't find it anywhere in auctions. So these things are going for like over 10,000 yen or more. And they had this tonight. It's really cool. So this is a special edition, limited edition kit. So it has like the regular instructions, but it also has the special instructions for the Ukrainian digital camouflage. And it comes with there's photo etch in here, and this really awesome decal sheet. Very, very cool. Okay, so that's it. Oh yeah, here's the photo etch right here. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's it. Long ass video, long cat video. Thanks for watching. So live long and prosper. May the force be with you, and so long. And thanks for all the fish. Goodbye.